In my quest to keep reading all of the old big name series, I've had some real winners, I've had some real stinkers, and then we've had some like this that just fall somewhere in between. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Shapechangers, the first book in the Chaesuli by Jennifer Roberson. This is an author that I've meant to try for quite a while, and this is the start of a quite long series from the 80s, the Chaesuli, and it's one of those things that's just I want to get to a lot of these older series, especially I found so many books, older series by female authors that I've loved. I've had a lot more luck in the 90s than the 80s, and one of the last older series like this I tried, I did not care for as much, which was the Deraini. This is the Chaesuli, though. It sounds like it could be from the same world, but a little bit different. And as you know, shown from the cover, that doesn't seem to want to focus. And the name of the book does involve Shapechangers. And this is a book I was kind of in the middle on, and I will say this was like maybe like a 3.5 or so. So nothing that really blew me away. And there were some things that I found a little bit cheesy with it, namely some of the dialogue. It gets sort of like romance dialogue-y at points, with like the "What say you?" And some of just the base plot here as well is a little bit over the top and does feel like it kind of fits in the 80s when this was published. But the thing that really impressed me is the world building and some of those elements that I enjoyed there. And just there's a lot that goes into kind of that in the lore, and we're seeing this world where you have the Chaesuli, and they can change shape into different animals potentially, and they have a leer, which is like their animal companion specifically, and that's what they can change shape to. And they have this very close bond, and to the point that if the animal they're like bonded to dies, usually they end up going and doing the same shortly after. But what's happened is we find out that due to somebody being allegedly kidnapped by one of these Chaesuli, it's up for debate if they really were or not. That this, Lord, it declares like anathema on all of them and just trying to wipe them out and kill them. And they're distrusted because of the fact that they have magic. And it gets roped up with Alex, who is due to her connection to the prince, and she ends up getting captured and ends up finding out that there's a lot more to her own heritage as well, and kind of trying to figure that out, and her connections to this magic and this lore and these people. And so it has kind of a base premise with person finding out that they might have magical powers, and it has a lot of elements. And kind of the really interesting thing is there are a lot of elements here that actually reminded me a little bit of things from Janie Wirtz's Wars of Light and Shadow. No idea if she's read this, but I feel like pretty well read. But it's not like big elements, but just with some of the group of people that has magic being the ones that are the one like forced out of everywhere and like on the run and distrusted. And you see that with the townsman versus the clansman in Words of Light Shadow to a bit. And so some of those elements I just thought were really interesting, where like there's the Chaesuli, they have magic and this like connection to the land and to animals as well, which is different because it's more of to the land very specifically with Wars of Light and Shadow, but just some of those elements. So it was really cool seeing elements I loved in that series used in a little bit of a different way here in this series. And so there were some of those elements, and just finding out in general like what the history of the Chaesuli is, and all of that, which I found very interesting. Things that were a little bit less so is like the customs, and I don't care for, and I will say it doesn't happen, but I did mention the main character is very early on kidnapped by a Chaesuli who wants to do exactly what you think until he finds some things out. But then that whole relationship, there's something there basically I just did not care for. And so there's a couple of things where it seems like it's sort of normalized, and I'm just like, nope, not cool, not okay, doesn't make it better, don't agree with it. And there's nothing that happens that's really there's none of like the stuff that you would expect, especially from this time, actually happens on the page or anything like that, or happens actually at all. But it's just some of those elements where I'm just like, dude, did we really need this? was not a huge fan of. This does do a lot that deals with sort of like fate and destiny for an in-world reason, where there's the Talmora, which is kind of like the overall destiny of the people, and you get kind of roped in. And so you see some of that with the characters struggling with what they're apparently supposed to do and what they really want to do. And so there's some of those themes. But also I did like, especially early on and kind of throughout, is this main character. They are sort of, it'd be easy to put them in the damsel category, but even right off the bat, when we first see them throughout, they just are very strong-willed and not willing to just go along with and do whatever, even though this is a very male-dominated world. So I feel like the author did still have a strong female character, and this is one of those stories that, reading this by a male author, if you took the exact same story, I don't think I would like it nearly as much. And I think it's one of those things that a lot of female authors tend to write the female characters better and also write male characters fine, whereas it's not always the same for male authors. But I just feel like, especially with 80s fantasy and some of the stuff here, I feel like this would have been much less up my alley had it been a male author, which who knows, but could have done things differently. But I like the female character being strong-willed and, not wanting to just go along with everything, like I said. Although, again, there are some of these, like, when she's being told something, she's just like, "What say you?" And like I said, some of the dialogue got a little bit cheesy and did make this feel sort of, romancy. And so I do wonder, like, the people who read like the old school, like the bodice ripper, like, you know, historical romance type things, or something like the old, like, romance fantasy, because it doesn't feel like particularly modern with it. But I wonder, there's probably people who like that. I don't know if those elements continue throughout, but again, it's the world building is really the thing that pulled me through. And whereas when I read Duraini, the world building was not nearly as interesting to me as what was going on here. And so here, it's just, there were so many of these elements that I'm really curious to see more. So I will be continuing. It's not anything that blew me away, but I'm curious to see where this world goes. So I will definitely have to continue on and try out some more Jennifer Roberson. And I know that she's got a later series as well too, that I think is the one that people tend to love the most. So definitely an author I will check out more of as well. But really, that's it for this one. So let me know your thoughts on Shapechangers or Chaesuli in general. I am curious to see where this series goes. So let me know in the comments. Otherwise, make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description as always for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizarding Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.